what are the common misconceptions that people have about raw feeding?
Bacteria, isn't it? I think people think you're bringing salmonella into your kitchen. I mean, we don't advocate taking a slab of meat and smearing it across the worktop. We treat it as if we would treat our own raw food in the fridge. So you keep it separate to your vegetables, you keep it in a leak-proof container, and I think that's mostly the problem. People think, oh, raw diet, you're going to make yourself ill by feeding your pet that. And some people will let their dogs lick their faces. You know, we just say maybe wipe their face down, wipe their beards off or something beforehand. But yeah, dogs do horrible things anyway, don't they?
What do you think is a misconception, Nettie, for people on this changeover to raw food?
That's really, the bacteria is one of the big issues, and that can actually be said time and time again. But because of the protocols that we've got in place with bacteria testing and the controls that we have, our food can actually be a lot safer than even the stuff for humans, because we have to jump through a few more hoops. So that's that side of it. They worry about having to keep it separate from their own food, but it is actually quite safe within the same freezer because it comes from the same food chain. Yeah. Although once it gets to us, it becomes a different category, which is to do with rules and regulations. And the fact that they think it can turn their dogs vicious.
Oh, yes, I was going to say about the bones as well, but yeah, giving your dog a raw meat diet, you can make them bloodthirsty. It doesn't happen.
In fact, because it's what they're naturally evolved to eat, it actually calms them down.
Yes.
Because they're not getting stressed trying to eat something that they find difficult to digest. So in fact, you end up with a calmer dog, which we've noticed on quite a few occasions.
Yeah, it gives their tummy a chance to settle so that when they're resting, they really can rest.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing people do always say, we say you can feed your dog this chicken carcass or a chicken wing. Oh no, you can't feed animals bones. They'll choke and die. And then we have to explain it's not the raw bones. Raw bones are fine, they're spongy, they're digestible because the dog's stomach acid is capable of coping with that. It's when you cook a bone, that's when it's dangerous, and you should never ever feed cooked bones, whatever form.
Many years ago, after the animals had been on raw, just for sort of about a month or so, my own, the ones we had at home, I got a load of chicken wings. I thought, I'll give them a chicken wing, each or two, or depending on the size of animal, how many chicken wings they'd get. So I gaily sort of dolloped them all out and then had a wobble. I thought, oh gosh, I've killed my dogs. And it was a real anxiety. And for 24 hours, I thought, that's it, I'm going to have to get them all operated on. It's going to be a disaster. And it wasn't. There was absolutely no, the only person worried about it was me. They all digested their food, and they all didn't have any issues whatsoever. So it just, we can overthink things easily.
It's quite reassuring to know that even when you were looking into it, you worried about it too. So having worries about feeding a raw diet is quite natural. People will have a list of things they always ask us.
It's strange that people will worry about feeding a raw diet and not worry about feeding, overprocessed manufactured diets, where you frankly have no knowledge as to what really is behind it.
Yes, that does go down. That the more you learn about the raw feeding, the more obvious it becomes, really. And you still get the situation where if the dog has an upset tummy, they will almost automatically, they'll blame the raw food, must have been a bit off, or maybe he picked up something in the forest. Well, that's another issue. And then they'll switch to
yeah, cooked egg, rice, maybe cooked fish. There was, vets or people in practice tend to revert back to that diet. Even well, I've worked in practice, and they go home and give it a nice bland diet of this tin of something disgusting, and yeah. So, and I remember working in a vet's in Bournemouth with my mother-in-law, Sue. She's our veterinary nurse, and she used to do the weight clinics. And there's a certain brand of dog food available in the supermarkets, which is a complete diet, and it's a sack of colourful kibble, and you could tell before the customer told you what the dog was fed by the look on it, look of its weight and the coat condition, that that's what its diet was.